Check out the Thinking Out Loud Network at thinkingoutloudnetwork.com.
It's your girl, DJ Miss Eclectic. You're tuned into the mixtape right here on this evening. And I have none other than my boy Rezurrection on the line. How you doing this evening?
Yo, Rez Nation, stand up. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much.
I love it.
DJ Miss Eclectic for having me on, man. Thank you.
Most definitely. So I gotta ask you, what's Rez Nation? Is that your community? I see it on like all your social media. I have to ask.
Well, Rez Nation, it all came from because people joke around about me because my voice is so deep. Yeah. They say it resonates.
Okay.
So I came up with my group Rez Nation, and then I built a radio show off of it, and I just like to have fun. It's just saying that you down with Jesus, and you will allow him to let him resonate your voice to affect his people, you know?
Most definitely. All right. I like that. Yeah. I like that a whole lot. Hey. So how have you been doing during this whole quarantine, whole COVID, man? How have you been faring with all that?
I have been, by the grace of God, physically picked up and plucked out of everything. Not entirely, but you know, I live on the south side of Atlanta in Riverdale, and before COVID really hit, the Lord told me to start looking for work, and I didn't know what I could do. I had a past, and I guess we could get into it, but I have a disability, and I didn't know what kind of work I could do, and the Lord made a way to open up truck driving school, and I went, got my permit and license right away, finished the school, got hired right away, and was just gone out of the major cities. So it's been a blessing not to like disregard people's hardships and times through this, but for me, like God knew what I needed to get me away, to plug into him, to be alone. Some great music has come out of it, and some great ministry has come out of it.
Okay.
And it's been a blessing to just be me, the road, and God, and Jesus, and just flowing and not letting the cares of the world weigh on my shoulders.
Absolutely. That's a blessing though. That's a blessing that God spoke to you pre-COVID, pre-quarantine. I know a lot of people are struggling right now. I have to say the same thing. I have to say that I have not wanted for anything during this quarantine, and it's such a blessing.
Yes.
Whenever you have to be so grateful, it makes us realize the things we take for granted each and every day.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. I gotta be super grateful for this, man. Well, congratulations on passing truck driving school and all. That's great.
Hey.
Hey,
I'll tell you this. I've paid off all my credit card debt.
Hold up. That's a shout right now.
God has really blessed us in this time. And
hey, man, wonderful. You paid off all your debt.
Yeah.
Ooh, how many people can say that?
Yeah.
What's that D1 song? I finished paying Sally Mae back.
Right. Right.
Man,
I didn't do that one yet.
That's awesome.
I didn't do that one yet.
You didn't do that one yet? Man, so speaking of Sally Mae, I was reading your bio. I said your Bible. I was reading your bio. And so you used to do theater in college.
Yes, I have. Well, my first bachelor's was in music business. And in my last semester of my senior year, the theater department, because we all were in the Performing Arts Center together. The theater department was putting on Romeo and Juliet, and it was a huge production, and they needed bodies and they needed people. And I never thought about really getting on the stage, but I said, all right, I'll audition. And I fell in love, got a leading role. And when I graduated, I came right back and got a degree in theater as well.
Wow. So speaking of college and your theater experience, how did you transition from theater experience into the music industry?
Well, it was always about music for me first. when I went to college, I hooked up with a couple guys who are, one of them is still one of my best friends today. We formed a group and we started just rapping and writing. And if I could tell a quick story about that, I ended up at a state school in Maryland. I'm from the D.C. area. It's called Frostburg State University, and it's in Western Maryland. And when I went there, you could count the black people on your hands of how many blacks were there. So it was a, pretty white campus, and less than 5 miles away, there was a place called Negro Mountain. So you get the idea. And we went in there and started playing open mics at bars with classical music, guitars, and rock and all that kind of stuff, and just turned that whole place upside down. And that started the whole movement of what I was trying to do. And that even before I was saved, you know, I have a tattoo on my arm that my name was Gravity before I got saved, because people always used to tell me that I could just draw people to me, and they couldn't understand it. Even when I didn't know Christ like I know him now, my voice and the things I would say would just catch your ear and draw you in. And God really gave me a gift for that. So it's always been about the music. I'm just been blessed with gifts and talents to round me out a little bit, you know, with the theater and everything like that. But I'm a nut, so I love to have fun. And
I hear that.
You know,
I always tell people Christians can have fun too. I love it. Y'all just went around shocking people with the classical, the whole ordeal. Y'all had it all going on.
Oh yeah. And
you definitely make some good music. Speaking of good music, y'all, we're about to get into some good music right now. Let's get into your single, Preach It Right. Y'all keep it locked right here. It's your girl, DJ Miss Eclectic with Rezurrection. If you're just now tuning in, I have my boy Rezurrection in the building, rolling down the street now. So you're from the DMV. I stayed in DC for like 2 years. I just moved to Atlanta like a year ago. Yes.
Oh wow, yeah. I'm born and raised, grew up in Montgomery County, right outside of Silver Spring.
Yes.
Silver Spring, Maryland. My parents and whole family still live there now.
That's so cool. I love the DMV area. I'm originally from Texas, but I was there for a few years. I absolutely loved it. I love it. I like Atlanta a lot too, but I also like DC. Yeah. It's cool. Both total different experiences from DC. You spoke about the 3-4 black people. Well, San Antonio, where I'm from, we're 6% black. So go from 6% to 60. You're like, oh, hallelujah.
Right.
The only thing that saved me was going to a HBCU. Other than that, I would have never experienced it. So, yeah, I think that's so cool. But yeah, I love the DMV area. So let's get into this single. Let's get into I know you got a new single out. We're gonna get to that one, but let's talk about Preach It Right with the whole Treat Them Right with the whole Treat Them White twist on it, man. So how did you come about this? I love the song, by the way.
So speaking of me being in theater, when I was really transitioning into Christian hip hop, and MC Nice got a hold of me and we became friends and mentoring me, and
that's awesome.
I was having a hard time finding my voice and who I was as an artist. Like I said, as a actor or something like that, like I could imitate and take someone else's persona so easily, and I could get caught up in that and not be who I am.
Yeah.
And he was seeing that before I even really saw it. And he was like, man, you got this old school flow. You need to find like a old school song and you'll find yourself in that. He was like, you should try that Chubb Rock song. And I was like, which one? He was like, Treat 'Em Right. And I was like, so I went home, played the instrumental on YouTube, and like the song just came out. And so I hooked up with my producer, Sam Peasy. He made the track, and I mean, the rest is history, you know? It's like changed my whole way of thinking about writing music and incorporating the old with the new. Like, I love that. Because like I said earlier, I feel like I'm getting old now, because I'm like
what's this music y'all doing now?
You sound like me.
Like, what happened to real hip hop? What happened to the hip hop? You know?
Exactly. Yes.
I know things evolve and transition and stuff like that, but it's like, y'all can't forget where we came from and act like hip hop ain't hip hop, you know?
Thank you. Y'all, this is mumble rap. As grandparents used to say, that bumpity bump, that ba ba ba. This is real music.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I wrote that, I wanted to incorporate, like, Treat 'Em Right was one of those songs that just hit me as a kid growing up. And then the other two songs, I grew up in Silver Spring on a street called Center Hill Street, and there was a lady named Miss Pearl. Her sons were in This Is the Jam for All the Fellas, Young MC.
Yeah.
They were in that group.
Oh, wow.
And so when I used to hear that song, that affected me. And then Rob Bass was one of them hype hip-hop songs from back in the day that just turned me up. So I took those three songs and incorporated it into Preach It Right. So the second verse, I say, first things first, open up the scriptures. It's all about Jesus. We better listen. That's that Young MC. And then I say, he's internationally known. He changed my life, and now I'm built to rock a microphone.
Oh, like it takes two.
You know?
Hey,
yeah. So I wanted to incorporate those songs that affected my life growing up and put it all in there, and then put the new twist on it. You know.
Man, I love the old school, new school. I mean, that's my whole flavor too. That's pretty much, I'm old school. I'm an old school lyricist. I'm old school rap, 80s baby, 90s kid. So listen, listen. Oh, I'm like, man, y'all gotta give me some, that old school flavor. I got a song like as literally an ode to the old school. I said, man, sometimes you just want to hear good 90s beats. Sometimes you just want to dance. Like, I love the new music and how it's evolved, and but still, I'm old school to the core. So, when I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, right up my alley. That's right up my vein right there. And you're on the Dove ballot too, I think I read, right?
Yeah, I made it on the Dove ballot this year.
Yes, congratulations. That's awesome.
Such a blessing, man. I don't even know what to say about that. It's just incredible.
What God is doing big things.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. Well, that song definitely deserves to be on the ballot. It deserves to be. We praying for awards around here.
Hey,
let's go for it.
I receive it.
Let's go for the nomination. Let's go for it. Then let's go for the win.
Yeah.
Oh man, let's definitely do it. So you said you have a show as well, right, with MC Nice?
Yes, I have a show on GH3 Radio called Rezurrection. It airs every Thursday, 6 p.m. our time, and then the replay is at noon on Friday on our time. 9 a.m. Pacific on Fridays and 3 p.m. Pacific on Thursday afternoons.
Cool.
So yeah, I have a great time. I can unleash and be the character that I always want and have fun. And I have a very deep voice, so my voice gets real high pitched sometimes when I get excited, and it's
really?
just very animated. Yeah.
See, I have a good time. I ain't mad at it. I can tell though, I can tell by your energy. I can tell y'all cut up. You cut up for Christ, don't you?
Hey, that's right. You got to have a good time. You just never know what somebody's going through. They hear your voice.
I agree.
How it can pick them up,
Yes.
And when it comes time for that, you got to throw all your junk, take your yoke off, yoke up to Christ, where He has all the joy and the peace.
Absolutely.
And you give it out, and you let your light shine.
Absolutely. You never know how you could be touching somebody else just by making them smile. They turn on the radio and they need to smile that day, or need to laugh, or even just being transparent and sharing something you went through that day. They might can share the same experience. So I think that's so major. I think that's major for us as Christians to be. I'm even being more transparent, especially for the younger generation. They want to know that you've been through some stuff and that you're not just looking down on them and that we're not just scolding them. They want to laugh with them and stuff like that. So I love it. I absolutely love it. So speaking of MC Nice, y'all also have a single out as well, or that's dropping right in September. So I just can't stop praising his name. I heard that one too. I was like, oh, here we go again with the old school, new school. Yes. So tell us about that one.
Well, so when I got saved, that's like one of the songs my church, like, if there was a praise break or something that was going to happen, I can't stop praising his name, would just start playing. And that's all we heard, like, all the time. So that's like one of those first gospel songs that really affected me, besides like hearing Kirk Franklin on the regular radio back in the day. But that was different because I wasn't connected to Jesus like that.
I hear you.
I thank God that those seeds were planted back then.
Oh yeah.
And but my apologies.
No,
but just that was like one of my first gospel songs that really touched my heart, and the Holy Ghost off of it, and get to praising. And I love Ron Canoli. I lived down in Florida for 13 years, and he lived right around Orlando, and he was connected to the church I was a part of then, and I just always heard a lot about him, and so I wanted to pay homage to him, and flip his track, because I can't stop praising. And when you, I don't know if we're gonna get into my story about what's happened in my life, but
we're most definitely gonna get into it after these messages. But yeah, we are.
All right, so I'll leave it for then. But I just can't stop praising. That's where my joy comes from. Like, for anybody's listening, like, you always have something that God did for you or brought you out of. And when you're feeling down or you're upset or something, just go back and remember. That's why he does those things, as a remembrance. And if you build an altar in your heart of those precious times, you can draw from those, and it'll pick you back up to say, oh, God, you did it for me then. I know you can do it for me now. This ain't nothing compared to what you already did. And that's why I stay with so much joy, so much energy, so much excitement, because I know what he did for me.
Come on, right?
Nobody can take it from me or say I'm lying. You can literally look at my walk and know that God did a miraculous thing in me. So,
man, that's a straight testimony and a straight segue, y'all. Let's actually get into the song, because I got it early and I'm going to play it. Y'all, I just can't stop praising his name. We're going to play this right here, right now. You know I'm supposed to, but we're going to do it. Y'all keep it locked right here. It's the Mixtape.
Rezurrection.
It's your girl, DJ Miss Eclectic. If you're just now tuning in, I got my boy Rez Nation in the building. I called you Rez Nation. You know, you got me saying it. Rezurrection, Rez Nation are his people. But you know, hey. I gave you a whole new name.
I go, Rez Nation, stand up!
There y'all go, stand up. If y'all tune in, stand up.
Yeah.
So we talked about a little bit earlier when you first came on about your story, but let's get more into it. So it was a time that you thought you would never walk again, but God said something different. Definitely lead us in that story. I think that could really touch somebody today.
Yeah, for sure, man. When I was a young kid, I was a bad asthmatic. I was on a lot of prednisone. It's a steroid. Back in the 80s, they didn't know what real effects it had on you. But it caused a disease in my hips called avascular necrosis, where the blood flow stops flowing into your hips and your femur heads die. But it takes 20 years for it to show up on an x-ray or a scan. So I didn't find out till I was about 24 years old that I had this disease. And so in 2010, I was told I would have to get my hips replaced. Both of them. I had bilateral avascular necrosis. 2011, I had both my hips replaced. 2011 and 12, they failed. I had elephant legs. I couldn't do anything. It was really bad. So they had to go in and replace the hips again. Then after that, I continued having issues on the right side. Finally ended up having 8 total hip replacement surgeries on both hips, 6 on the right, 2 on the left. In 2015, I was told I'd never walk again because they had to take my hip out and I would have nothing. So I wouldn't walk. If I did, it'd be with a walker, maybe with a cane. But like I said, God's voice was louder. And I don't want to fake the story or anything like that, but in the midst of all that, I got addicted to the pain pills I was on. I was shooting them up. I was shooting heroin. I didn't care anymore. I thought my life was over. I thought I had nothing to live for if I couldn't walk. You know, I had a lot of pride. I thought nobody would care about me if I was in a wheelchair, stuff like that. And but God's voice was louder. In 2016, I went to bed, woke up without having withdrawals all night, and ended up sitting up on the bed and walking to the bathroom to use the restroom. Didn't even realize that God had delivered me from all the pain pills, the withdrawal. He had detoxed me, and I was walking with nothing. And I'm a literal walking miracle. Yeah, I mean, God just really transformed my life. That's why I am so energetic, so full of joy, so happy. And don't get me wrong, I get bad. I have my bad days, and
of course,
we all. But I still remember what He did for me,
and
and He saved a wretch like me, and I'm just so thankful for that. You know,
that's such a testimony.
Yeah.
There's
a song that got out. It's called "Yes He Did." That the album cover has my actual X-ray.
Oh wow!
Of what my hips look like, and the funny thing is, you could cut this out. The funny thing is that we both made a song to the same beat. The song that you did, I had did a song to that same beat.
The Love It.
Called, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I like yours though, you know what I'm saying?
I haven't heard yours. I gotta hear yours.
Yeah, check it out. It's pretty dope. It's just all about, it's called Yes He Did. Because I started walking in what He did for me, you know?
I hear that.
So yeah. But yeah, that's like my main testimony that I love to share to let people know, because you can tell somebody something, but when they can physically see you and I walk around with a shoe lift on my foot to help balance my legs so my back doesn't get messed up or nothing like that. But like, man, I've gone from not being able to walk to walking to getting up and out of a truck every day, like a big rig, driving a rig, like I never thought I'd be doing ever, and seeing the whole world, not world, but the whole country besides Alaska and Hawaii. But I've almost touched every state, and I'm just a kid from the hood that never thought I'd ever see the west side of this country. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can ask nice sometime. When I went to LA, I was geeking because I was like, I'm in LA. I'm in Hollywood. Oh my gosh. You know, like, I never thought of that. You know? And it's just really cool what God can do to blow your mind and to let you know that He's got you, you know?
Man, I think that's awesome. That's a true testimony, because some younger people would say, well, is God still healing people? I mean, He healed people in the Bible. Is it still happening to today? And you're a living testimony that, yes, it's absolutely happening today. What would be some encouraging words you would tell somebody who's striving to be an artist, or they're striving to be in this industry? They have some ailments. They don't know if they can overcome certain situations. What would you tell that person who's struggling right now?
I would tell them, if it's really in you and it's something that you want to do, never give up. You know, a wise man falls down 7 times and gets up 8, you know. To find yourself around like-minded people that care about you and want you to do better just as much as you want them to do better. Don't just give your money out to anybody, and take it step by step, day by day. It's a process. Just like the walk in our faith is a marathon. It's not a quick race, a sprint. It takes time, you know. I started in 2009, and here we are 11 years later, and now I'm starting to actually make some movement. So it just takes time, and you got to just stay consistent and stay the course and never give up, you know. But mainly surround yourself around like-minded people who care about you, about your soul, about your life as a Christian, not just how good you are in music or nothing like that, because when iron sharpens iron, you'll make each other better, and you'll learn and you'll grow. And that's, I mean, what God did for me. And you'll be surprised how He makes you run into so many different people that you don't even associate or talk to anymore, just to get to the person God needed you to get to to help elevate where he needs you to go.
Absolutely.
You know? So just never give up. Keep striving. Keep going hard.
Man, you just said a word right there. That's absolutely this industry is this. It doesn't happen overnight. I tell people all the time, it might look like somebody did it overnight, but they've been working and grinding behind the scenes. Some of your biggest stars, so they have been working for a long, long time. Like I've been in this industry for a minute. I've seen a lot, and it takes time and that consistency, the ambition, and making sure you're in God's will. I promise you, will absolutely open up doors.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you sharing your testimony and you sharing your story, man. I definitely appreciate that. And I know it's going to touch some people. A lot of people are kind of scared to share their stories. If they've gone through something, they're scared they're going to be judged. If they have some ailments, but I think it's amazing. We're all imperfect for Jesus. I think every single one of us. I don't know a perfect soul that's walking this earth right now. So I think it's amazing.
God dropped the nugget on me and said, any and everybody is going to judge you. But only my judgment matters. Only his judgment matters. So
keep
it moving. And to dust your feet off. When Jesus says, dust your feet and go to the next house, like, God really opened the window up for me for that. Like, we think just knock the dust off and go on, but we're made from the dust. Our flesh is dirt.
Come on.
And you got to get out your feelings, knock the dust off, and keep it moving. Because it ain't about you, it's about the Christ in you, and you just keep moving forward, You
got to keep moving.
Absolutely.
You're going to get knocked down, as you said, but you got to keep moving. You've got to. That's the only way to succeed. And and like I said, it's bigger than us. What we're doing, especially if you're in ministry, it's bigger than you. If you're in the gospel industry, it's way bigger than you and, what your wants. It's all what God has for you. So I think that's major. Man, I appreciate you.
And speaking of the ministry, like, these artists out here that want to come out, they trying to blow up and do this stuff, but you got to have a true ministry behind it. You can't just think, because then you're not a Christian artist. This is just my opinion. I'm not coming down on anybody.
Now
but
go ahead and speak it.
If you're really a Christian, you need to have a ministry behind what you're doing. Like, what are you doing it for? I mean, what are your motives? Is it really to glorify God, or is it to elevate yourself, And I mean, I had to go through that whole transition myself. And that's just little nuggets, so,
No, I absolutely agree with you. There are certain songs that I will hear and I'll be like, I have to look it up. Is this a Christian hip hop song, or is this a gospel song, or is it just, before I put it in rotation, let me make sure it sounds good, but I don't know what they're going to say next.
Right.
So I heard Jesus one time. No, I'm just and I absolutely understand. Not that you have to say Jesus. That's not what I'm saying. But like you said, your intent has to be there. Your intent, and I need to hear that message through the song. So I definitely I hear you 100%, man. Well, I appreciate you. We gotta do a little quiz before we go. This is a tad bit. This is gonna be a this or that quiz. This is genre of music. Would you do country or would you do opera music?
Opera.
I already knew that because of the music. I was like, oh man, when I said, that's gonna be opera all day. You didn't already went to the little bars and stuff and singing your opera. Are you Android or you iPhone?
I just transferred to iPhone.
Welcome to the team. God, I knew it. Boy, you all right with me. I knew it. See, if you were Android, I'd be like, all right, well, it's been good. Be blessed. I don't know if Android is God. Okay, let me. I'm just, man, I don't know. I gotta go there. All right,
it's that apple in your hand, modern day Eve.
Oh, you ain't lying.
Think about it.
Oh, yeah, that you ain't lying. You ain't. That might be a whole. That might be a whole preach right there.
That's the word right there.
Yeah, that apple will open up a whole lot. It open up the floodgates.
Yeah.
Man, you ain't never lying. All right, so if you watch a movie, who would you rather watch? Last one, Denzel or Samuel? Samuel.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
Man, they both good. I don't even know.
It's gotta be Denzel. It's gotta be.
You gotta go Denzel on them.
Yeah, like one of my favorite movies. I got it right here in the truck with me. Is Glory.
Oh, like Denzel. Yeah. Oh yeah, especially during these times. Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, he's just. I mean, they're both great actors. Don't get me wrong.
They are. They actually are.
If I had to pick, I would pick Denzel over Samuel.
Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know. It might be Denzel too.
Samuel Jackson. Some people don't agree with me on this, but Samuel Jackson, when he was the villain in that first Kingsman movie.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, you gotta see it. It's an English spy.
That one.
It's like a English spy movie. He's a villain. It's a character. Like usually Samuel Jackson's the same in all movies, but like he's different in this movie, and I really appreciated it, and it made me like really love him as an actor even more.
I gotta go check that one out. Okay, let me. I'm not a big movie person, but I gotta check that one out. I definitely gotta check out that Samuel. Okay, right. I figured you would be, since you've been in the theater and all the great things. You would know.
Yes. Yeah.
Man, tell everybody how to get in touch with you, how to get the new singles, how to follow you on all social media. Let everybody know everything, all platforms.
All right, so real quick, before I let y'all know all that, I want to let everybody know what I'm doing. We talked about all the old songs that I do. There's a reason for that. I got an album coming out January 22nd and 21.
Okay.
It's called Back to the Truth.
Yep.
And it's a playoff of my favorite movie trilogy, Back to the Future. So in those three movies, they go to the past, they're in the present, they go to the future, and they go to the Wild Wild West. So I got some old hip-hop songs. I got some old gospel songs like Can't Stop Praising. I got some present time songs like McFly. I got a future song called Flux Capacitor on it. And I got a Western song where I took two Johnny Cash songs and made a fire record. And I'm excited for what God's doing, but nobody's really putting themed albums together anymore. So I'm blowing it up with like a 21-track album, all themed out. It's dope. I've been working 2 years on this. It's going to be great. Make sure y'all follow me at I Am Rezurrection. That's with a Z. IAMREZURRECTION. That's on all platforms, IG, Facebook, Twitter. You can go to IamRezurrection.com, my website. I search I Am Rezurrection on YouTube, all that. But pre-saves for Can't Stop Praising will be August 28th. All the radios and all the DJs that I love got the track already. So they're going to start spinning it and playing it. Thank you, DJ Mr. Eclectic. I appreciate that. Yeah. And we really going to try to push this one. We're going to try to put something behind it. So we're excited what God's doing, and I'm learning the ropes, and we're going to try to affect the culture and do this thing for the kingdom.
Hey, I'm ready. Let's go. Y'all heard it. I Am Rezurrection. I'm excited about this whole new CD. Like, man, back in the days, have interludes and everything. I'm working on the EP. I have to throw some interludes on this because people just stop. You know, I used to remember certain songs on the album. Now we just able to pick and choose what we want on Apple or Samsung. Yeah. I'm like, man, you about to take us back. I knew you had an old school spirit with a young flow twist.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I'm excited about that. Man.
Yes.
Most definitely. Y'all make sure y'all go follow Rezurrection. I Am Rezurrection. Y'all definitely check him out. Man, bro, you have blessed us this evening. I appreciate you for being on the show this evening. It's the Mixtape, y'all.
Check out the Thinking Out Loud Network at thinkingoutloudnetwork.com.